So today we are going over best tax deductions for landlords to keep in mind. And this is part one of a series of two. And the second one will be published in another week or so. And we're just going to go over deductions that landlords really need to keep in mind, especially since right now is the tax season for everybody, personal and businesses, to make sure you've wrapped up your taxes for the prior year. And so we're just going to jump right into it. And today we also, it's me, Chris, and Taylor as well. And we'll be your hosts today, just going over some of these very, very, very important deductions that you can go over. So Taylor, off the top of your head, can you think of any deductions that landlords should keep in mind?
Yeah, I mean, you've got, let's see, some interests. So like your loan interest, some business credit card interest, property depreciation, insurance, business fees, professional services, utilities, those good ones. Mileage is always a good one. You always have people going to and from places, and that gas gets you every time.
Yeah, going to your rentals, going from the rentals to the office, from the office to the rentals.
Legal fees.
Yep. Cell phones. As soon as you use your cell phone for business, I mean, boom. How many times you check email, your texts for business-related stuff that has to do with your rental properties? Calling people, calling tenants, calling contractors, calling agents, calling your employees. From your cell phone, that's a huge deduction right there as well.
Your internet. Your internet. Speaking about email there, you are using it for business.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of people forget about the cell phone and mileage. Mileage is huge. There's a few apps out there that actually track it for you. They'll track it live. So you don't even have to really worry about writing it down in a log or anything. You can, one of them I think is called like Mile IQ or something like that. And literally you just turn it on your phone with a GPS and it just tracks all your destinations and says, was this a business related trip? Yes or no. And it's like a swipe left or right type deal.
Nice.
Like the apps.
Yeah.
So you're like, is it a business trip? Swipe right. Is it not a business trip? Swipe left. And then based on which way you swipe it, categorizes that trip and records the mile log for you. So it's really cool.
That is really cool. Yeah, that would definitely be helpful. I might do that.
So what about the loan interest and the general interest in general? I think there's loan interest and business credit card interest, which that one I didn't even think about, but that is an interesting point.
Yeah, I mean, it's those two things are always good to know in there. And you've got like with your loan interest, you can write off your property loan interest if your income is more than your rental expenses. Then basically you can write those loan interests off. So whether the loan is your property that you've acquired or property improvements too. So when you have less income than expenses, deductions get a bit trickier. And we actually touched base on something to help out with that with our active loss article that we talked about on the last little podcast that we had. So if you guys have more information that you'd like on that, you can visit that link there. But on the flip side, if you do make more than $25 million a year, there's a limit to the interest deduction that you can take. So unless you agree to increase the length of your depreciation schedule by 2.5 years, from the typical 27.5 years, you would bump that up to 30 years, then you would have a little difference there.
Yeah, that's a good point. We did do that passive activity loss rules for deductions for things like loan interest, and that link can be found in the blog post on TenantCloud.com's blog. So if you want to check out that article or that blog, you can go online and to our blog page and check that out. The other
Yeah.
thing that people need to take into consideration, and this is cool because the TenantCloud system actually will track this for you, just based off of the information that you enter for your property. It'll track your property depreciation and properly record that on your tax documents, year-end tax documents on our tax report for the end of the year. So you can literally just print that off or download it and email it to your accountant. But it is a very important thing if you own real estate. I'm sure you already know this, but property depreciation is definitely something that you need to take into consideration. And then insurance. I didn't realize that insurance premiums are deductible. That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you can insurances for like hurricane, hail, flood, sewer backup, loss of income insurance, liability insurance, employee insurance, all that type of stuff. Definitely make sure that you're looking into deducting those from your taxes at the end of the year, because that is also a huge savings.
Yeah. That's something that a lot of people really don't think about, and then that's just lost money there. Get that back.
I don't like losing money. That's not
No,
cool.
I like making money. No, keeping my money is what I like to do. Yeah, and if I can get it back from the government, that's great.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, right? Give it back.
Give it
So,
back.
yeah. Another thing is like your business fees, and like, so we talked, you can take the business credit card interest off as a deductible, but you can also do like your business bank account fees. So keep that in mind. Any business bank account fees or charges that you have come in, you can also deduct those, which is awesome. HOA fees and condo fees, you can use those as well, which is great. So don't forget those. You are paying on those, so those are deductible. And even if you are running your home office out of your house that may have an HOA or a condo fee,
yeah, a lot of times
you can
those are
deduct a
deductible
portion of
too.
those. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, you definitely can. And obviously on all of these, we recommend to talk to a tax consultant. So if you have questions on that part of it, some of it can be tricky. We definitely recommend reaching out to your tax consultant for that as well. So that's just another thing. Licensing fees, that's another business fee that you can also deduct, which is really cool. Check with your state, because every state is different. So obviously pay close attention to that as well.
Yeah, your local state taxes, a lot of times those can be deductible. Things like occupancy taxes, that type of thing. Definitely want to check into all of your local and state and county taxes that you're paying to see if there's any deductions that you can take out there. And also professional services. If you contract a vendor to regularly service your property or to help out professionally on your property, rental properties, you can usually deduct those expenses as well. So things like HVAC maintenance and repair, pest control, grounds maintenance. I mean, that type of stuff, that's regular routine monthly things. Advertising, tech support, your computer goes down and you have to pay somebody to come out and do some IT support for you. Even real estate investment advice, a lot of that stuff is deductible, and a lot of people don't take advantage of those things. And the last thing is utilities. Depending how you structure those fees, you likely pay for utilities like water, gas, electric. A lot of those costs are deductible, and you can even include other expenses like internet or television costs, or private trash or recycling services. And again, definitely want to check with your accountant to verify that you're eligible for all of these deductions, but these are just general deductions that most people typically qualify for. And so how does TenantCloud help with all of that, Taylor? as far as like expense, because a lot of this is just related to expenses. So
Right. And the nice thing is like with TenantCloud, you can track all of your expenses within the accounting portion of our website, which is great. You can keep track of who you're paying, what you're paying, when you're paying, all the amounts, and then all of that information is taken and put into the tax preparation report. So you really don't even have to look through everything and say, okay, I have this, 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 and this. I need to make sure I account for it. Don't forget. TenantCloud does it for you, which is awesome. You can even select to have your Schedule E populate as well, which is awesome. So all of that tough stuff that you had to put all the books out, all your receipts out, make sure that you had everything. As long as you have it within TenantCloud, you're gonna have it for your tax purposes, which is really cool. Takes about, I don't know, I spend a solid few hours just doing my taxes. So I would say you'd probably save about a week of your tax time, which is
oh,
awesome.
oh yeah, easily, especially if you have more than one rental property. I mean, that can,
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's taxes at the end of the year for rentals is beyond uh, beyond a nightmare. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
huge ask for a lot of people. So especially people who have 5, 6, 7 or more rentals, which that's pretty common. If you have one, you usually have a few more. So, or you're looking to get a few more. So getting into a software platform early on that keeps track of that stuff is definitely important. And that's where TenantCloud is great, is that it is it has the built-in accounting software into the system. So it keeps track of all of your expenses, all your income, all that stuff for you. It's all taken care of. And you literally just goes into a single report, already breaks it down into all the categories, and you just send that report to your accountant and call it a day. So
Call it a day.
call
I
it a
like
day.
easy things.
I do too.
Easy things
Work
are nice.
smarter. Work smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
That
Saves you time and money.
That's right, man. So that's pretty much all of our tips for today. Be sure to check back for part 2. We'll go over even more deductions, believe it or not. I know that seems like a lot, and I hope you were taking notes, but we definitely have a lot more coming for you before this tax season wraps up. Keep tuned into the TenantCloud blog because we're constantly putting up new tax-related blogs up there with tips and advice and things you may not have thought of. So keep checking back on our blog all the way from now through April 15th. Remember, April 15th is the cutoff time. You got to have your taxes done by that day. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to TenantCloud blog.
Have a good day, everybody.